Tariff Showdown, Trump pushes for deal while Carney rejects it. Detroit on edge. Detroit is on edge as a fierce tariff showdown unfolds between President Trump and Canadian economic advisor Dominic Carney. With millions of auto industry jobs hanging in the balance, will tariffs protect American workers or threaten the very heart of the Motor City? Stay tuned to find out what's really at stake in this high-stakes trade battle. Welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into a major trade conflict that's putting Detroit's auto industry and thousands of jobs on the line. President Trump is pushing hard for tariffs to protect American manufacturers, but Canada's top economic advisor, Dominic Carney, is pushing back, warning of serious consequences. In this video, we'll break down the key points of this showdown, what it means for Detroit, and why it matters to anyone who drives a car or works in manufacturing. Let's get started. It all started when President Trump announced his push for a new trade deal, aiming to renegotiate the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, or, more recently, its replacement, the USMCA. Trump's administration has been clear. They want better terms for American workers and industries, especially the automotive sector, which is a cornerstone of Detroit's economy. Tariffs on imported vehicles and parts have been a key point of contention. Trump argues that imposing tariffs will protect U.S. manufacturers from unfair competition, particularly from Canada and Mexico. But not everyone agrees with this approach. Dominic Carney, a top economic advisor to the Canadian government, has firmly rejected Trump's tariff demands. Carney warns that tariffs would only escalate trade tensions, increase costs for manufacturers, and ultimately hurt consumers and workers on both sides of the border. From his perspective, tariffs are not a tool for protection. They are a risk to the fragile balance of North American supply chains that have been built over decades. Detroit, often called the Motor City, finds itself caught in the middle of this escalating dispute. The city's economy is deeply intertwined with the auto industry, from assembly lines to suppliers, dealerships to research and development. Tariffs mean higher costs for manufacturers, who might pass those costs on to consumers in the form of pricier cars. Worse, they might consider shifting production to other countries to avoid the added expenses. Workers in Detroit's auto plants are understandably anxious. Jobs in factories, logistics, and parts manufacturing depend on stable trade agreements and predictable costs. An extended tariff battle could delay investments, slow hiring, or even lead to layoffs. It's not just a political disagreement, it's a real economic threat to thousands of families. The stakes are also high because Detroit's revival over the past decade has been closely linked to a surge in automotive innovation. Electric vehicles, autonomous driving technology, and green manufacturing have created new opportunities, but these sectors also rely heavily on cross-border cooperation and supply chains. Tariffs risk stalling that momentum, making Detroit less competitive globally. So, what's next in this tariff showdown? Negotiations are ongoing, but the conflicting positions between the Trump administration and Canadian officials suggest a difficult road ahead. President Trump has emphasized that tariffs will remain on the table as leverage until a fair deal is reached, while Carney and Canadian leaders insist that tariffs would be a lose-lose scenario. In the meantime, Detroit's businesses are preparing for the worst. Some manufacturers are already exploring alternative suppliers or stockpiling parts to hedge against sudden tariff hikes. Others are ramping up lobbying efforts, urging Washington to consider the real-world impact on workers and local economies. Consumers should also pay attention. Higher tariffs often translate into higher prices for cars and parts. That could mean sticker shock at dealerships and increased costs for repairs and maintenance. It's a ripple effect that touches not just the factories but every driver and car owner in the region. Community leaders in Detroit are calling for calm and dialogue. Many agree that a balanced trade deal that supports domestic manufacturing without resorting to punitive tariffs is the best path forward. The hope is that diplomacy and compromise will prevail before the economic fallout worsens. In summary, the tariff showdown between President Trump and Dominic Carney is more than a headline. It's a real challenge for Detroit's auto industry and the thousands of people who depend on it. The coming weeks will be critical as both sides negotiate and the city watches closely, hoping for a resolution that supports growth, jobs, and stability. If you live in Detroit or follow the auto industry, stay informed because this story is still unfolding. Whether you're a worker on the line, a business owner, or just someone who drives a car every day, the outcome could affect you directly. That's the latest on the tariff showdown rocking Detroit and the wider North American auto industry. Trade battles like this don't just happen in Washington, they affect real people, real jobs, and real communities. If you found this video insightful, please hit the like button, subscribe for more updates, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.